So over a year ago, a little indie movie called It's Love, Bro came out and is now finally on Amazon Prime. Should you check out this little indie film? Let's find out. Chase Lee Hockey here with the Blue Futon reviewing It's Love, Bro. So it's about pretty simple premise. We're mostly focused on two characters. One is a girl who just got engaged to an MMA fighter who is a complete gym bro. And you could tell the relationship was never really on great, solid ground. And, it's still on rocky relationship terms. You have a guy who's a very sentimental guy who just broke up with his girlfriend after a couple years. And, that's another one where it's like, they kind of like each other, but it just was never on solid grounds again. However, now they're starting to work together. Is there going to be a relationship? And now these two people are working together, and is it going to be a relationship or more of a girl-guy relationship that they're just there for best buddies? So, did I like this film? I thought it was a well-crafted, well-made, and well-thought-out movie when it deals with, dating and relationships today with all the dating apps, of what we are doing in today's society, of dick pics, of nudes, of just talking to people instead of like looking across the room and like, oh, I don't feel that connection, so we're not going to do it. And you kind of see it in today's day, even if you look at this movie and other, girls where they're like, oh, within 10 minutes, I just knew it wasn't going to work out. It's like, you really never talk to get to know them. Like, there's a interesting facade about people now where it's like, if you don't have the money, if you don't have the looks, I just don't want to deal with you. But get to know them. Like, why are they acting this way? Why are they kind of secluded? Why are they in this dump? Maybe it's something personal. Maybe it's something mental. Maybe it's something where you can help them get out of it. But we're so superficial now. And while this movie doesn't really go there, it does talk about how it can come to that fruition. So to all the positives, it's a well-looking movie for, being a very indie budget film. The director and writer, I believe he's based out of New York. And actually, I know he's based out of New York. And he has done this as well as, I always say this name completely wrong, Waning Poetic. W-A-N-I-N-G, Waning Poetic. Anyway, I'm an idiot, okay? That's all. I'm an idiot, okay? But he has a couple of the same actors that are in both films, but this one, a couple new ones as well. And I really did dig that I could believe that some of these characters are kind of the down in the dumps, kind of are the goofiness, and are kind of the more, sentimental type. So I did like that. It's mostly the writing where I did like where it does connect with some of the characters and where we're trying to understand. And it does feel personal. And sometimes you get some of the dialogue where I really hate it, where you get these new movies nowadays that are on Netflix, like these incoming movies where the dialogue on these teenagers are like, there's no way we talk like this, do we? At least in this movie, I do feel like you do have those 1-2 friends where you're just like, okay, you're kind of crazy and you would bring this shit up. Me, I don't really hang around those type of people, but I do know those people where you're just like, yo, I know who you are. I know what your dialogue is like, and I'm just not going to hang out with you. And this does have that reality to it. You do get the, like I said, the look of what we're trying to do. So what I thought this plot point was going to go somewhere different. And so the funny part was, so one of the jokes of this film is the roommate always brings up a new girl back and forth, and the other roommate, the guy that just broke up, is very tired of it. There is one time where the fiance of the girl comes down. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. What did they do something? But apparently no, it was more of, I wouldn't say it's a MMA fighting thing, but there was innuendo in it where I'm like, what actually happened upstairs? Was it really a shoulder injury from the mat? So I was just I laughed at that scenario, like, oh, are we going to do something with this? And it kind of gets dropped, which is fine. But I thought it was a fun little thing where it kept the audience guessing, like, oh, wait a minute. Did it go where I think it went? Or is it more just a serious, like, yo, my shoulder is injured and you're upstairs and it just looks awkward. So having that was kind of fun, of having the audience guess what actually occurred upstairs. That's all I'm going to put at that level. Also, we do have the same character from the Warning Poetic one, where the guy was kind of like the high guy from the 90s. He's also kind of plays the same character in this one, which I'm completely okay with it because he plays it well. He plays kind of the doofus, the funness guy, the guy that's like, I wouldn't say he's clueless, but he's one of the people that like in the background, he'll like do his own thing, then he'll hear something and he'll be like, wait a minute, that's a good line to get the girl. And he does that a lot, and I kind of dug it. Yeah, you could say this movie, is a simplistic movie, and that's okay. I'll say that with a lot of other movies out there where if a movie is simplistic, does it right, and does what the audience is supposed to get out of it, I'm completely okay with it. Because we have a problem now with a lot of people complaining like, oh my god, there's too much simplicity out there, the same stuff over and over and over again, Marvel movies, Marvel movies, Marvel movies. But then you get the weird ones that no one sees, so you kind of understand of like, so are we on the bounds of do we want something different, or do we want something that just makes the audience smile and go, yeah, that I've experienced that, and I could go with that. And that's what I got from this movie is I feel like a lot of people could watch this movie and say, you know what, I experienced that character, or I experienced that character. But overall, if you ever see a guy with a nose ring who's an MMA guy, who's a total gym bro, probably not the guy to either date, because the only one I can think of on the internet is that one dude that kind of looks like this guy is the dude that is dating the transgender chick, and they go on a lot of podcasts, and he's like, well, I'm not gay because she's a girl now. I don't know, that guy totally reminded me of this guy in this movie, but there's no correlation. I'm almost 99.9% sure. But overall, it's love, bro. Sometimes it is love, and it is that, dilemma of, am I going in the right path? Should I really be, marrying this guy? Because am I just doing it because everyone else is getting married, or because people are pressuring me to do it? And there's also another line of like, do I need to really wane on the past, or should I move forward? But like I said, there is that territory of engagement. Should you really do something? And I do think it teetered that line pretty well. But yes, fun little movie. It's on Amazon Prime. I think you could rent it for $2.99 and maybe buy it for $6.99. I don't remember the exact cost, but if you want to have a fun little movie in your collection, I do recommend It's Love, Bro. So It's Love, Bro will receive a 4 out of 5 with Futon. So it goes at 80%. Let's see what the critics and user scores gave this one. So it looks like we have nothing on the Rotten Tomatoes. And so if you wanted to have my first one, it'll be an 80%, which would put 100% on that Rotten Tomato meter. So there we go. Chase Scott here with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know things Bluetontopia. You Blue Tony, take a watch. Have a great day. Watch this day tomorrow, week, from a month, and a year from every single freak one of you. Peace and love, peace and love. And so this director, like I said, did Wanting Poetic and this one. I think I prefer the Poetic movie because I just felt like I loved the different decades and how people really lived during those times. So I prefer that one over this one, but they're both solid movies for something if you want to watch that is not big budget.